Hello, beautiful souls. Today, I actually wasn't even planning on creating any content. However, we all know that God and the universe really work in mysterious ways. And I had experienced something today that reminded me of two things, and I wanted to be able to share those with you today. So, if you're new to my channel, welcome. My name is Melissa, and this is Sacredness Within You. I created this channel to be able to help others rediscover the sacredness that lies within each and every one of us. Because right now, as I'm creating this channel and creating this content, we're at a point in our evolution as humans where we're really recreating a new planet. And as we go through this transformation, a lot of us are going through our spiritual awakening and really letting go of the things that no longer are serving us. But also, too, I am creating this channel because I want to be able to help others heal the feminine within them and then also bring healing to the feminine collective as well. So, today I wanted to share with you two really important things and reminders that I received today because they were two really helpful things on my journey that allowed me to create the life that I am creating right now, which is very much different than the life that I grew up in, the conditioning that I received. And the first one was to be present. And I know a lot of you might be thinking, well, yeah, I'm present all the time, or I try to do the best that I can, or I meditate each and every day, so I'm present then. But as we're creating our life and co-creating our life with God or the universe, source, whoever it is that you connect with as your higher power, you're co-creating your life with them, your 3D reality with them. And the only way that we can really do that is by being in the present. Because I was reminded of a quote that I received many years ago before my spiritual awakening. And it was something about don't worry about the future because it hasn't happened yet. And don't relive the past because there's nothing that you can change. And live in the present moment because that's where the happiness is. That's where the magic is. Like, I'm paraphrasing it, but it went along something like that because I really believe that some of us, like myself, tend to be thinking about the future quite often. And here's what I've learned on my journey is if I'm worried about the future and I don't know how things are going to play out because I'm not supposed to always know, like I mentioned in one of my videos, it's like we only see a couple of steps ahead of us because if we did, most likely some of us would self-sabotage because we're like, oh my God, I'm not worthy of that, or I don't know how it's going to happen, so I got to force it to happen. But if we spend too much time worrying about the future or trying to figure out things, we end up missing out on the present moment. And oftentimes, the energy that we invest through thoughts, through time, I mean, you name it, is really wasted because, like, think about something that you were going through most recently. And if you're like me, thinking about 1,000 different scenarios that could happen, how much time do you think you really wasted thinking about all these scenarios? Probably quite a bit. And out of those, let's say 100 plus scenarios that you played in your mind, did or will any of those happen? Absolutely not. Because most of the time things happen in our reality or come into our reality in a different way than we could ever imagine because they're going to come in to us in the way that we have the least resistance. And then if you're somebody that's thinking about the past, oftentimes if I found myself reliving the past, it's because I'm not okay with how something happened or I'm not okay how something ended. In my mind, I need to try to fix it. And by thinking about it, it's like we're trying to fix that situation when we can't fix anything in regards to the past because it's already happened. We can't go back and relive it and change it. It's just virtually impossible. However, what we can do is we can take the information that we've gained from that experience, that knowledge? Like, what did you learn from going through that? Now, where can you apply that stuff that you learned to your life right now? And you can change the trajectory of your path by utilizing information that way, because it is in this very moment right now that we are creating our reality. So where are your thoughts? Where is your energy? Where are you sending these things to? And what kind of blocks do you have? Because it's in the present moment that we can see those blocks. We can see the energy leakages. We can see the limiting beliefs that are coming up for us to be able to release and let go. And a couple ways that I always know that I'm not present and I'm not aware is I'll forget something, like whether it's my phone, my keys, like my wallet, something of importance, I'm going to end up leaving it somewhere. Second is I will trip, and especially if I'm going too fast or I'm like way ahead of myself, I will trip. Whether it's in my apartment, or if I'm walking down the street, or if I'm at work, or whatever it may be, and I'm not fully present, I usually trip, or I run into something like a chair or a corner of something. So these are just some signs that you're not really fully being present. But those also can be some signs that you need to ground yourself, because in order for you to be fully present, you have to be grounded into your reality. In some ways, the grounding are like getting outside, getting your toes in the ground. You can do the five senses. What can you see? What can you hear? What can you smell? What can you taste? And what can you touch to help ground yourself? There's so many different ways to keep yourself grounded. The second thing that I was reminded of, and this all was reminded me of one interaction that I had with a woman at the grocery store. And the second thing is that on this journey, this path, one of the things that we're learning is how to be really resilient. I often hear when I was a devoted Christian, that God would give his bravest people the biggest challenges, and I used to think, well, God must think I'm pretty powerful and pretty strong if he's always giving me, and I say he, just because that's just how I view God. I view God as like right now, as he is like the masculine part of me. And I can go into another video about this. Like he's playing the masculine energy within my my reality right now, because I'm calling upon God, and this is what I'm going to get into a little bit as well. I'm calling upon God to help me figure out certain things in my life, so that way I can remain in my feminine energy. I'm calling upon him to help me provide for myself and to protect me, all the things a masculine energy should be doing. And it's actually been a game changer. That's why I'm referring to the energy as he, because it's, even though I know it's not a physical being, but it's more of a masculine energy to me, where Mother Gaia is more of the feminine energy. But along my way and my journey of my awakening, I really realized that our soul has wanted us to experience these things in life, because we have a blueprint that we come into experience. And yes, we have free will to override these things. But if we were to live our true path of what we wanted to experience here, we would know that we set ourselves down this path to experience things to help build resiliency. And resiliency is one of the tools that we need to continue going down this path. And the more things that we overcome, the more resilient we become as human beings. And I remember reading this in the Millionaire Mindset. I'm an avid reader. I love to read. And I read the book, The Millionaire Mindset, several times, because there's some really incredible concepts in there that apply with money, but can be applied to other areas of your life as well. And he was saying, like at the time, like when you go through something, it might seem like it's like an 8, a 9, or a 10. Like think about something right now in your life that you might be struggling with in terms of overcoming, or you find it really, really challenging in your life. What would you give that scenario right now? Let's just say say it's an 8. Now I want you to think back like a year or 2, maybe 3 years ago, where you were going through another experience that was just as challenging? I want you to think about it for a moment. Did you overcome that situation? Of course you did, because you are still living, right? You lived through it. You made it through it some way, somehow. Now, thinking about where you're at in your journey right now and thinking back to that scenario, would it still be the 8 or 9 or 10 that you gave it back then? No, most likely it'd probably be like a 3 or a 4, because you are more resilient. You have more tools in your toolbox to help you overcome the things in your reality. And that's all we're doing. We're building this arsenal of things that can help us move forward in our journey. Because I struggled for many, many years, and I still do sometimes, because it's been within my family's lineage for a really long time. Is when things get really tough, I become hopeless, and I get into despair. You know, hopelessness keeps me from moving forward, and I can't see the big picture. I can't see or understand like why it is I'm going through this. What lesson is it that I'm meant to learn? And then when I get into despair, it's like I make the wrong choices because I only think in my mind that there's one solution out there. When the reality is there's like hundreds of different opportunities and solutions to this problem that I'm having. This one problem, there's hundreds of solutions. And so it's like being able to watch this as you go through and be like, okay, now I know I have this tool, this, and this to help me get through it. And as these obstacles and challenges become bigger and bigger, it's because your soul are harder and harder. It's because your soul is expanding and getting bigger and bigger. And you're just building this resiliency. And so it's an opportunity too to really be like, oh my gosh, this is how far I've come. And this, I mean, if I'm getting bigger challenges, is because my soul is wanting me to expand. My soul is wanting me to see how powerful I am. And that's the other thing. It allows us to tap into our power of who we are and what it is that we're capable of overcoming in this reality. So I want to give you just a little tip in terms of how I've been able to move through situations like that, and how I coach some of my clients as well. Is when you're going through this, you know, how did you go through the last difficult situation in your life? And to remind yourself that you made it. Like you made it on the other side of that. But what tools do you have in your tool belt that you can use right now? Sometimes it's meditating to be able to receive guidance in terms of how to move forward. Sometimes it's having that conversation and connecting energetically with God, the universe, source energy, whatever you may call your higher power, to help you, to show you, to help you find the solution, to show you that solution so you can sit and work through the other stuff that's coming up for you. Second, I also ask my guides. I ask my guides to help me find a solution as well. I connect with my ancestors. For me, connecting with my ancestors has been very, very powerful in my journey, and something that I have always done. I could always feel my ancestors' presence even when I was younger. And then now my family members that have passed are all part of that group that I call upon, because they're wanting me, they're wanting you, wanting anybody that watches this video to overcome this, and they can see things from a different perspective. And sometimes just connecting to them, asking them for guidance, asking them for strength, whatever it is that you need to be able to move through that. But also too, sometimes when we hit our biggest challenge, the thing that we think that we're doing is we have to do this alone. We have to do this in silence. We have to do this, without anybody knowing. But sometimes we're called to make the biggest leap of faith in trust in the universe, in God, in source energy, by asking for help. Because many of us, myself included, and this is a really hard one that I've had to learn over and over and over again, is to be able to ask for help when things get tough. Because I've learned in my journey that we're not meant to do things alone. That's why, you know, working with a coach, a mentor, a healer, somebody that can see things that you can't see to help you navigate through that allows your journey to be so much easier. And also, too, you can be able to see the bigger picture in a way that you might not have been able to see it before. But whether it's a close circle of friends, maybe you have one or two people in your reality that can help you, you know, even if they just listen, because sometimes we just need somebody to listen to us and not find a solution. You know, oftentimes I'll just call a friend and be like, hey, I just need you to listen to me because I'm trying to figure this out on my own. And sometimes talking it through allows me to figure it out. I've mentioned this in another video. You know, I have, I don't know if you can see right down here, this little voice memo on my phone, because sometimes I don't have anybody to talk to. Maybe somebody that my closest friends are busy, they're not answering, so then I'll just talk to myself. I'll talk to myself as if I'm talking to them or talking to God or my guides, you know, to really try to find that solution. Journaling works as well. You know, it's an opportunity to get into your notebook and handwrite things, and you know, like you know, you can write down like, what is it that I'm feeling right now? Why is this happening for me? What is this trying to teach me? You know, and stuff. And so when things are getting tough, it's also a great time to be really grateful that you've been given this opportunity to expand your consciousness, to expand the evolution of your soul, because it's helping you come back to who you are. It's helping you come back to that sacredness. It's helping you come back to, you know, remembering how powerful you really are. And remember, the power that I'm talking about is not power over anyone. It's about power in terms of what it is that you are able to co-create in this reality with the universe. And so, my friends, I just wanted to be able to hop on here because I knew God and the universe were sending me this message for me as reminders. But also, I wanted to be able to share it with you because I know if I'm struggling with it from time to time, others are as well. So as always, I would love to hear from you. Don't forget to hit the subscribe button, drop a comment below if this resonated with you, if it was something that you needed to hear, and then share this with anyone that might benefit from it. And my friends, as always, I'm sending you so much love and light. And if you're needing guidance on this journey, check out my description box down below for my current offerings. And until next time.